Hello and welcome. Journey with us today, back in time, to the cradle of civilization, where the eternal flow of the Nile River nurtured one of Africa's earliest and most magnificent cultures. Long before the first pharaohs of Egypt cast their long shadows over the land, another power was stirring in the south. This is the story of the dawn of Nubia, transition to animations of early farming and herding along fertile floodplains. Imagine a world before 3000 BC. In the land we now call Sudan, the earliest civilizations were already rising. Along the life-giving waters of the Nile, vibrant Nubian cultures were mastering the art of survival and prosperity. They were skilled farmers, coaxing life from the fertile soil. They were expert herders, guiding their livestock across vast plains. And they were savvy traders, connecting communities and building wealth. But how did this remarkable civilization begin? What forces awakened this ancient dawn while much of the world was still in its infancy? Our story begins as far back as 3800 BC with a people known to archaeologists as the A-group culture. Flourishing in the region of Lower Nubia, between modern-day Aswan and the Second Cataract of the Nile, these pioneers were true masters of their environment. They cultivated fields of barley and wheat in the rich silt left behind by the Nile's annual flood. They herded cattle, sheep, and goats, building a stable foundation for their communities. But they weren't isolated. The A-group people were part of a dynamic network of trade. They exchanged valuable local resources like carnelian, a beautiful reddish-brown gemstone, along with ivory and the legendary gold of Nubia, with their neighbors to the north and south. These weren't just simple exchanges. This was the beginning of an economic system that would define the region for millennia. This trade brought not just wealth, but also ideas, influences, and connections, weaving Nubia into the fabric of the ancient world. Let's step into one of their villages. The A-group people built distinctive circular homes, using mud brick and stone to create sturdy shelters against the elements. Inside these communities, life was rich with culture. Archaeologists have unearthed beautiful pottery, decorated with intricate geometric patterns and designs that speak to a sophisticated artistic sensibility. These weren't just functional pots, they were expressions of identity and artistry. The people of the A-group culture didn't just live by the river. They understood its very soul. They navigated its currents, timed their planting with its floods, and drew their sustenance from its bounty, living in a delicate, successful harmony with nature. By 3000 BC, the influence of these early Nubians was already being felt far and wide. Their communities were growing in size and complexity. The success of the A-group paved the way for what was to come. As their influence echoed northward, another powerful Nubian culture was beginning to rise further south, the Kerma culture. This is a crucial point in history. The rise of these organized, prosperous communities in Nubia predates the unification of Egypt under its first dynasty. It challenges the old narrative that civilization flowed only from north to south. Here in Nubia, a powerful, independent civilization was taking root. This era wasn't just a quiet prelude. It was the forging of a future superpower. These early farming societies weren't just surviving, they were thriving. They developed techniques to harness the Nile's floods, turning a potentially destructive force into a predictable, life-giving event. Their ability to manage herds of livestock allowed them to support growing populations and establish permanent settlements. And their trade networks became ever more sophisticated, weaving a web of connections that stretched across formidable deserts and along the length of the great river, bringing prestige and power to the heart of Nubia. This period laid the essential groundwork for the mighty Nubian kingdoms that would one day rival and even rule Egypt itself. But as we piece together this incredible story from fragments of pottery and the foundations of ancient homes, deep mysteries remain. What inspired their ingenuity and their art? Did their deep connection to the river manifest in a pantheon of forgotten river gods who guided their destiny? The Nile has preserved so much. but it has also buried so much. Could there be submerged ruins beneath its waters, holding secrets of even earlier migrations, of cultures that predated even the A group? The ancient pulse of Nubia beats on in the land and its people, but its earliest dawn remains veiled in the mists of time, a tantalizing puzzle for us to solve. The sands of time have hidden so much, but the story is not over. Along the banks of the Nile, what untold dawns, what forgotten legacies still await the light? What do you think? Were these early Nubians influenced by others, or was their rise entirely their own? What theory do you have about their origins? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Let's discuss this incredible piece of our shared human history. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the past. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the forgotten corners of history. We'll see you next time.